It looks like US Soccer has hired a new sporting director, and for the first time in a long time I can say these words, they absolutely got it right. I'm so excited to talk about this one. Let's dive in here on Pints and Punditry. Welcome back to Pints and Punditry. Today we're going to talk a little US soccer, and it's going to be positive, which is a rare thing these days. I have not had a lot of good things to say about the administration. The play on the field has been great, but the way US soccer has been run for years has been bad, and we could be seeing some fantastic steps being taken to move in the right direction. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button for me if you don't already follow the channel. Like this video, get ready to comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on this move by US Soccer. And of course, if you don't already, follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM. I've got lots of thoughts going on there. So news broke over the weekend that United States Soccer was reportedly going to be hiring Matt Crocker to be its new sporting director following the departure of Ernie Stewart a few months ago. Crocker is currently finishing out his term as the director of football operations for Southampton in the Premier League, and it was already announced that he was going to be leaving that position. So a lot of moving parts here that sort of came together nicely for the United States because I am thrilled about this move. Now, what do we know about Crocker? Well, Southampton, before we start to poo-poo on Southampton for being at the bottom of the Premier League table, first of all, this is still a director of football operations with Premier League experience. So that right away is a feather in his cap. But before we go scoffing at Southampton and say, well, why couldn't we have stolen one from a better Premier League team? One, that's not how this works. The guy has to be available. And two, Southampton actually has a strong developmental track record of developing young, talented players, which is what we need here in the United States. Now, they don't have the financial resources to keep them, which is part of why they're about to be relegated, but that's not a problem on the international stage, so we don't have to worry about that. Crocker had worked with Southampton previously at the academy level back from 2013 to 2017 when they had a strong track record of developing young players. So that is actually a strong credential on his part. He then worked with the English FA at the under 15 and under 17 and under 20 levels, where they've had a tremendous run of success, and they've developed a ton of young talent. This is a golden generation of English talent as well as the United States, and a lot of it is these teenagers coming on, and now they're in their early 20s, and he was instrumental in their development, working with those younger level teams. So he has a really strong track record and background of working with young, talented players on the international level. If there is a country we would like to emulate in terms of their national team player development, it's probably England, and this is a guy who was instrumental in that before he went back to Southampton. Now, say what you will about Southampton, but even though they're going to get relegated this year, they have developed a nice core of young players who could be a part of their return to the Premier League if it happens next year, or be sold for profits for the club. So he has done his job at that level and in those roles, and so his track record there is fantastic. So that's the main reason I like the move, is he seems to be a very qualified individual for the job that he's being hired to do. That's always a good place to start. But here's the main thing, the main reason I'm excited about this is he's not American. And more importantly, he is not a part of the incestual group that has run United States football, particularly on the men's side, for decades now. If they hired another star from the men's national team from the 90s or early 2000s, we would have been right back in this same cycle that has led to the Greg Berhalter, Giovanni Reyna, Claudio Reyna family drama that has now engulfed the U.S. men's national team. And they needed to get out of that little cesspool of incestual players who all played together and went to college together and are friends together, and we got to expand. We got to get outside of that. Now, if they want to hire an American coach, that would be okay, but we need some outside influence here to break the the cycle that we're in, where we do things, oh, we're going to do this the American way. How has that worked out for us in football? How has that worked out so far? It has not worked out well. Maybe we should be doing this the British way, or another country that's had some success. So, I am thrilled that they have hired from the outside, right? That was the first priority for me. There are so many qualified people. Let's go find one who is going to look at things a new way. Anytime in business, in sports, in management, in any situation, if you continue to only look at things in your own insulated way, you are cutting yourself off to new ideas, new concepts, and new ways of doing things. So anytime you can bring in a new set of fresh ideas, it benefits everybody. Now, if he wants to go off and hire an American coach like Jesse Marsh, that would be okay. And there is a connection to Marsh. They wanted him at Southampton. He turned down the job, but they do have an affinity for him. So there is there are some dots we can connect here that this might increase the possibility of Marsh becoming the next U.S. men's national team head coach. I personally would love that. I think Marsh is a fantastic leader. I think he's an intelligent guy. There were a lot of tactical questions at Leeds, but I'm less concerned with that on the international level because you're not running as many trainings and you're not implementing as much strategy so much as you're just trying to get everybody on the same page in a limited period of time. And I think Marsh can do that. So I would love it if he ends up being the choice, but if he doesn't, that's fine too. There are other qualified candidates out there, both domestically and abroad, and I don't have a preference either way, so long as we get out of this inherent need to hire a former player from the men's national team. That should not be a prerequisite or a qualification for coaching the men's national team. And I know we've been burnt by international coaches in the past, somewhat recently even, but we got to be open to that. So I love the fact that they have gone outside the box and brought in somebody with a strong track record of youth development, both at the club level and at the international level. And I think that bodes well for reforming U.S. soccer, not just at the top men's national team level, but in the entire developmental period from the top down to the bottom, down to the academy levels, down to training, down to everything that we do to develop players and fortify the pool of talent that we're pulling from. And this would be on the men's and the women's side. I think it can only benefit everybody. So great hire by U.S. Soccer. This should then also speed up the hiring process for a coach because now we can make a decision on that. And this really gets the ball rolling for the next cycle. So a very, very positive first step towards bigger things to come, and I like the direction this is headed because it shows me there's a strong mindset for building a long-term plan. What do you think? Comment below. Is this a great hire? Did the United States absolutely boot this one? Is it terrible? Does it make sense? Please comment below. I'd love to get the discussion going. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me. Like the video if you can, and follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM. Thanks as always for joining us on Pints and Punditry. This is Total FIFA Career Mode.